Hello everybody, my name is Katie and welcome back to my channel, and for today's video I'm going to be showing you how to make these cute DIY yarn hats. You don't need to sew or crochet or anything, you literally just need to tie a bunch of knots. So that makes this craft really simple. It's great to give to friends if you want to make it into an ornament or a garland. Today I'll be showing you how to make it as an ornament, but you could just leave it as its own as a cute little hat, whatever you want, maybe put it on a doll or something. But that's all I'll be showing you today. And I just want to say before we get started that this idea is not originally mine. I will share all the info in the description box below, but let's just go ahead and get started with the DIY. In order to do this DIY project, you will need some yarn, and I am using this yarn, I believe it's Lion brand, and it is in the shade of Whipped Cream. And I got it from Amazon, so I can link it in the description box below if you're interested in it. I think it's pretty good quality. I, to be honest, don't know very much about yarn, but it seems good quality in my opinion. You will also need a sort of toilet paper tube or a paper towel roll of the sort. You will need some cotton balls, one for each hat that you will be making. You'll need some scissors. You will need a sort of notebook or something that you can just wrap around the yarn with later that'll be the size of the hat that you want. This will make a lot more sense later. And then this is optional, it depends what you want to do with these hats, but I'm going to be using some fishing line to make them into ornaments. So first off, I'm going to take my scissors, and I realized that I wanted to switch scissors to my not as nice scissors because I didn't want to mess them up from the toilet paper roll since it's kind of thick. So I just used my scissors and I just went ahead and cut off a little chunk. I didn't really measure or anything, I just kind of eyeballed it. Basically, you just want it to be the size of the rim of your hat, and so that just depends on how thick you personally want it. But yeah, so just go ahead and cut that off, and once that's completely off, you can go ahead and trim it from there in order to make it more cohesive and flat. Are those the words that I'm looking for? You want to make it so that it's even, you don't want it to go in and out and taper in, I guess. So once you have this nice round tube thing, you are going to take your yarn and that book that I was talking about earlier and just wrap it around a bunch of times. And don't make this too tight because then you won't be able to get your scissors underneath and cut later. So just wrap it around semi-loosely, and once you're satisfied with the amount, you can always cut more later. And you'll just go ahead and make a cut, and then you'll have a bunch of strands of yarn in the same length. And so now you're going to take your toilet paper tube and your yarn, and you're gonna fold your yarn in half. You're gonna stick that through your toilet paper tube, and then put the two ends of the yarn through the loop. Hopefully the visual helps explain this better than my words do, and you just do that around the whole entire tube until you get back to the beginning. And when you add new strands, you're going to want to add the loop in the direction that the strands come off of, so that way they're all the same way. You could, I guess, theoretically rotate it if you do put it on the wrong way, but if you just do it that way, it's a lot easier and you'll get through it a lot quicker. So now I'm just going to show you a nice little time lapse of me putting on all of these strands. So now I am finishing up my last few strands, and as you can see, I am done now. And so the next step is to just push all of the yarn through, kind of invert it, and that'll just make the rim look a lot cleaner and kind of get rid of the ties at the bottom. It'll kind of push the ties underneath so you don't see those, and it'll look more cohesive. And so once I got that through, I just kind of played around with it a little bit so that my strings were kind of straight and not all wobbly and loose. I took a cotton ball and stuck it in the hat there to kind of make it
to kind of provide shape to it, so that when I continue trying to straighten out the strands, it's a little bit easier. And now I'm taking another piece of yarn, and it's just the same size as the other ones that I've been using. And I'm kind of just placing it on top and tying a knot. So I'm double knotting, and I just did one knot, flipped it over, and tied another knot. And then so that's how you get your sort of hat shape. And tie it as tight as you can so that it comes to a point at the top and it kind of tapers in. And then you'll see that you have a bunch of excess on the top, which is good because you want a little fluff ball on top of your beanie. So what I kind of did is I kind of fluffed out the fluff ball so that it was coming out in all directions. And then I just started giving it a little haircut. I just trimmed away and kind of formed it in the shape and the length that I desired. And this just takes some practice in looking at it just to determine kind of which pieces to cut. It's quite simple really, but that's once you finish that and you clean up your scraps, then this next part is the optional part I was talking about. Because right now you just have a little cute hat that you can keep as sort of a decoration. But if you do want to go one step further, you can turn it into an ornament by using some fishing line. So I am just taking some fishing line, and I took out the cotton ball from the hat so that I can actually get inside of the hat. And then I kind of just maneuvered my way through a part of the hat. You can see my finger kind of poking out. And I just stuck the fishing line through the hat kind of like that. And then I did the exact same thing on the other side. So then that way I kind of just have fishing line stuck in like opposite sides of the hat. And so once I got that done, I just tied some knots on the top of the fishing line, and I like probably quadruple knotted this just because I did not want it to come undone, because one knot in the fishing line clearly won't do it. Double knot might do it, but I really wanted it to be sturdy and safe, so I did a quadruple knot. Once I have finished the knots, then I cut off any excess fishing line that I had, and I rotated it so that you can't see the knots part, and that's just kind of in the fluff ball.
So this craft does take some time. It takes time to tie all of these knots and stuff, but I do think it is a fun way to de-stress when you're watching a show or chatting with friends or just really doing anything that doesn't take a lot of your mind. And trust me, I've tried this de-stressing. It works. It's lovely, and I would love to do it again, so I will do it sometime in the future. And I think that's all I have for you. Oh, I do want to say one more thing. So after I filmed the craft portion of this video, I decided that I did want to put a kind of tag on it because I made one for myself, and I wanted to have, I wanted it to be an ornament that we put on our tree, and I wanted it to say 2020, so I remembered what year that we got it from. But I was like, how do I do that? And so I figured out I'm going to make it look like a tag. So I took a piece of toilet paper roll, I wrote 2020 on it, I cut it, and I cut it and then I wrote 2020 on it. And then I just hot glued it onto the ornament. And so that's a really cute way if you want to personalize it with the year, with someone's name, with a cute little drawing, really with anything that you want, you can just personalize it. So I just wanted to add that there, or add that here in case you want to personalize yours and you want some sort of idea. But that's all I have for you. Thank you for watching. If you liked it, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Also subscribe down below because I post videos every single Sunday, and I hope to see you back again next week. Bye.